Hello, and welcome back to Jacob's Guest Lounge, the history behind the mouse. Within every memory, there is magic. Last week, I talked about how Disney connects us through the days of the year. This week, we're talking about something personal, once again. And honestly, this time it's a lot more fun. Because, whether we admit it or not, we've all had a Disney crush! And I'm not just talking about me. I mean the kind where you're watching a movie or a show, and suddenly you realize, wait, why do I like this character so much? And the funny part is, it doesn't matter if it was a Disney Channel star, a Disney princess, or a prince for that matter. It can also be even an animated character. And when I say animated character, I'm talking about Simba. But we'll get to that part later. Somehow, Disney made it very real. At least it felt that way. And that's what we're getting into today. Not just who we had crushes on, but why Disney characters connect with us like that in the first place. So let's start with Disney Channel. Because for a lot of us, this is where it began. And for all you millennials that are tuning in right now, you are all probably more than likely familiar with the actors and actresses such as Zac Efron, Vanessa Hudgens, Dylan and Cole Sprouse, Miley Cyrus, Emily Osmond, Brenda Song, and the Jonas Brothers. I know I am. I will say this, my sister used to have a Jonas Brothers poster on her bedroom wall. In fact, if it wasn't on her bedroom wall, I think it was on the ceiling, more than likely, guaranteed. Oh yeah, she had a crush on them, so that's my other point and example. That's one of the reasons why to this day I believed that one of her favorite Disney Channel original movies was called Camp Rock. Now, for all you Gen Z or Gen Alphas that are tuning in, I'm sure some of you are familiar, if not having a total crush on Dove Cameron, Sophia Carson, Sabrina Carpenter, Zendaya, Meg Donnelly, Milo Manheim, and Ross Lynch. Since I'm a millennial, I admit that I had a crush on both Raven-Symoné, Adrienne Bailon, Miley Cyrus, Emily Osmond, and Brenda Song. There was also an actress who guest starred in an episode of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. The episode title is French 101, and her name is Caitlin Pippi. And the reason why I had a crush on her is because at the time I was still going through that phase of where being a teenager, I fantasized about being a particular character. In this case, I pretended I was Dylan Sprouse, who portrayed Zach Martin in The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, because somehow I knew that he was going to be the one who got to kiss that girl. And by the way, Caitlin Pippi, in this case, she portrayed herself as Jolie, the French girl. But no, it was just a thing that I remember going through at the time when I was all about hormones and filled to the extreme of Dan Hartman's single, I Can Dream About You. Oh yeah, this song is definitely going to be the main part of what most listeners are going to get out of reliving their crushes. I guarantee you that now. Oh, man. But anyway, why did I have a crush on all the other actresses? Well, it was a lot easier to envision myself, dreaming about the actresses because I knew that they were real, and not only that, but they were closer to my age, and it just seemed like instinctively in my mind, that's what I wanted to go for, was something along those lines. Realistically, for a lot of people, that was probably their first real celebrity crush, although it wasn't in my case. But no, I grew up idolizing a lot of country artists, and it was either LeAnn Rimes or that other artist, Lila McCann, that I had my first celebrity crushes on out of many of the girls that I've come in contact with via the screen versus my own eyes. Then you got the classic Disney characters, whether it's Naveen, Flynn, aka Eugene Fitzherbert, Aladdin, Eric, Ariel, Belle, and like I said before, there's that Simba. Yep, that's exactly what I promised you all, was we were going to come back to that. But yeah, out of all those choices that I've mentioned, I can understand why some women had a crush on Simba. But it wasn't in the same way that most people would think. A lot of it was because of the actor Jonathan Taylor Thomas. And back then, he was considered a teen idol and a heartthrob to most of the girls at the time, being known for his floppy hair and boyish grin, and if anything else, I'd say his ability to portray Randy Taylor in Home Improvement was one of the other good qualities that I find attractive in people as a whole, is their sense of humor. That was just the thing about Randy Taylor that I liked, was how he always acted so hilarious of the three Taylor boys, and I just thought Randy Taylor was my favorite. Anyway, back to the Disney prince or the princesses. I just didn't grow up idolizing any Disney princess because it never occurred to me naturally to dream about being with any animated character, whether it be Belle or Ariel. However, I will say, if there is one Disney princess that I do admire the most, it has to be Anna. I just love her positive attitude and how she always seems to be the most happy person that I know of. But looking back now versus what I went through at early age up until I became a teenager, the older I got, the more aware I was. If I had to pick any classic Disney princess I would have a crush on at this point, it would be Belle. I love how she's always wanting to venture away from the small town and wishing for something more. I can connect with her in that regard. Plus, I also admire that she's very book smart. And what's interesting is that these characters weren't just attractive, they had personality. They were adventurous, kind, brave, and curious. I believe that's what made people connect with them the most, in my personal opinion. Please feel free to share your comments on any other Disney princess, prince, other characters, or Disney Channel stars in the comments. Now, what are your unexpected crushes? I want to ask you all this. Is it Scar? Would any of you think of Megara? Or perhaps Merida? The reason I bring up Merida is because, she was probably the first Disney princess that I know of that happened to not be interested in pursuing a relationship, but rather being free from it all. But then again, Moana and Raya do not have love interests either, so it's implied that their narratives explicitly happen to be anti-romantic, but maybe not. That's why I sometimes wonder if sequels are becoming the new thing about most Disney films. And here's where it actually gets interesting as well. Disney doesn't create characters, they create emotional connections. I mean, think about it. You're watching these stories at a young age, the characters are expressive, relatable, and idealized in a way in which the storytelling makes you feel something. So when you connect with a character, it sticks, sometimes for years. Or it just becomes a phase of growing up and we forget about people or the characters later on, and we just grow up to be adults. Now I want to hear from all of you that are tuning in right now. Who was your Disney crush? Was it a Disney Channel star, a classic character, or one that makes absolutely no sense? There's no judgment, by the way, because clearly we've all been there. I even put up a poll asking what kind of Disney crush people had, so make sure you go vote and let me know. And by the way, just in case you didn't get it, the question is, which type of Disney crush did you have? Was it a Disney Channel star, a prince or a princess, villain or an unexpected character? Honestly, more than one. Yep, those 4 are what I'm going to put up on the episode description, and I will make sure to make this available to all of you. At the end of the day, Disney crushes might seem like a small thing at first. Maybe for some of you it was, but for most of you it is a lifelong thing that sticks with you, and you happen to be allowing it to define a part of your life. Realistically, though, they're another example of how powerful storytelling can be. Because somehow these characters become part of our lives, and even years later, we will still remember how they made us feel. Well, that's it for this episode. If you enjoyed this podcast, please give a 5-star rating and hit follow to get notified about more upcoming episodes. Be sure to tune in next Tuesday. I will be discussing the first day holidays such as International Day of Laughter and Reach as High as You Can Day. And as always, keep the magic alive, and I will see you back here in the lounge.